Fuck 12! Let me say that.
I remember that. I'm so sorry, Sam. Elbows.
Come on, let's walk over there.
This is my brother.
Your love probably stays.
This is my best
Mine
friend.
isn't. I don't know what it does anymore. So the reason why this is really significant is that last night, this was exactly where I was when I went live and all the tear gas and the rubber bullets were being shot. This is exactly where we were. This is the intersection right here. Let me just see if I can get it to turn around. Yeah, this is the intersection. That's where the snipers were, on top of that building. All of this area right here. This is where we were. That AutoZone actually has burned down. I'm sorry. This AutoZone is where we were hiding, like, from the bullets. Like, this is the place where you all saw us yesterday hiding out, leaning against the wall, and we were kind of like running back and forth around the corner. This is the AutoZone building, and it's completely burned down. What does the sign say?
We do it your way, we do it again. Fuck you.
Well, let me go show you guys this sign right here. The sign says, if we do it your way, we're doomed to repeat this again. It'll happen again if you want to protest the way. People who've been asking me what this FTP means, it means fuck the police. I got a lot of police officers and stuff in my family, so I don't really say that too often, but I understand it. So this is where this is the intersection. Like, this is where everything was happening last night. Uh-oh, look at them burning. It's a car on fire. That's right. Where's our car? Yeah. Where's Angelo? Let's locate him. So, yeah. So basically, y'all, this is the area where everything was happening, and the significance is that because of the protest and everything that has happened, the police have they stood down, but we know that they're going to be sending the National Guard in, and so, you know, we'll see how that all works out. People are not going home. Folks are not going to stop protesting just because the National Guard comes in. And in fact, what I would say is that you all, every single city across America, wherever there are black folks, white folks who care about us, and other allies, I don't care who you are, in all those places, people, look, they're running right here. I don't know why, though. In all those places, you know, cars blow up, right? So, yo, hello, why are you walking towards, that thing could blow up right there. Sorry. So in all these situations, in every city across this country where black folks are, we should be participating, the Latinx community, we should be participating in the resistance movement. We shouldn't be quiet anywhere, nowhere. There's nowhere in this country that people should be quiet. So in every single city, since they're sending the National Guard into Minneapolis, and they've said that they have been approved to use force if necessary to address the protesters. And so if that's the case, then the protests should be popping up in every single city, so that there's no place where, well, rather that they cannot control all the spaces across this country where people are speaking out. This moment that we're in is a moment that we don't need to come back to. We shouldn't be coming back to this and saying, well, you know, last time we were so mad, we fired up, we wasn't going to take it no more until this time. This is the moment that everybody has said they've been waiting on. I'm tired of it. I don't know what else to do. We're in that moment right now. So since we know that that's where we are, let's not go back. We can push this thing finally. We can push it over the top. And it starts with you. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's cool. Tamika, Until Freedom, Black Lives Matter, the Racial Justice Network, the NAACP, NAN, everybody. It's cool to think about Arc of Justice, Justice League, to think about all these other organizations that are doing great things. But what's really, really, really important, the most important part, is you. Those of you who are on this live right now, you are what matters. You are what matters. So get in the street. 10 people, 20 people. Tell folks where you are. Go live yourself, post it, and just say, we out here. Remember that with the Women's March, it was one woman, Teresa Shook, one woman. She put out a Facebook post saying that she thought there should be a march in Washington. She appropriated the name of another march, but that's a whole different conversation. But she put that post out there. And listening to, taking from her, that one woman who just thought something has to happen, look at what ended up as the result of her post, her one person, that one person. What ended up was 5 million people worldwide. So get up wherever you are. I heard that Queen Yanazdaha has said that Georgia should be shut down. I heard LA was moving last night. I've heard that Memphis was moving last night. Everywhere across this country, get out there. Get out there. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. Don't let people tell you, oh, you know, it's violent. I'm scared. You know, they might, you know, I might get hurt, this, all of that.
Do you hear me now?
We're not hurting. Look at me. You know, yeah, sometimes things get crazy. And you got to remember that some of the people that are out here setting fires, throwing things, breaking things, some of them are just people who are just tired. They're fed up and they're at the point where nothing can't happen anymore. So nothing is no longer working. You have to do something about killer cops in our community and vigilantes who think that they can just take our lives and not be held accountable. But there are a lot of people among us who are folks that are not for the movement. Many of them are paid provocateurs. Many of them actually work for the very people that we're fighting. They're being sent in our communities and to our protests and into our meetings and into our
I know that you're gonna this call, but
they're being sent into our communities and into our places of business, into our schools, and into relationships with us in order to destroy. That's not a new phenomenon. That's been happening to our movements since the Black Panthers and even before that. But the Black Panthers would be the best example of when we saw it happen to our people. Same thing, happened. Okay, those are fireworks. Sorry. The same, you gotta pay attention. I'm from the projects in Harlem. I don't play around. When I hear stuff popping or I see people moving, I know live and nothing else that I'm doing is more important than me seeing like what's up, so I can make sure I protect myself and the people that I'm around. I see Queen Yanasa, how you said Atlanta. Tomorrow, CNN at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, CNN at 4 p.m. Foley Square, New York City. Tomorrow, Arc of Justice, Justice League, Until Freedom, and many others will be there calling for Amber Cooper, the chick that thought it was okay to lie to the police on camera. They so damn crazy. She's out there trying to kill a dog and lying with the camera in her face. But she was trying to weaponize her white daddy, husbands, cousins. And I said earlier today while speaking to a group of people that included many white folks, y'all are responsible. If you on my live right now and you a white person, these are your people. Get your people. Stop these women from lying, because guess what? There's a direct line from Amber Cooper all the way to George Floyd being murdered. So she needs to be charged. The police commissioner, they put the not the commissioner, one of the chiefs, I forget what Ben Tucker's role is, but black man in the police department in New York, you never hear from him. He never says anything, not shit. You don't hear anything from him ever. First time you hear from him in months, he's out here saying that prosecuting the Amber Cooper is not on their priority list, that they have bigger fish to fry. And the reality for me, when you say you got bigger fish to fry, is that fish and dogs are more important than humans. Fish and dogs must be more important than humans because you got bigger fish to fry. I don't know, Mr. Tucker, as a black man, what fish could be bigger than the fish of, I don't know, Mr. Tucker, what fish could be bigger than the fish of a man who looks like you being murdered, and another one where he could be murdered just because a white woman chooses to weaponize her power and her husband, her father, her granddaddy, to weaponize it and use it against our people, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Black Man. So that's where I am. I'm told that I'm sitting here trying to talk, right? And I was saying a good word. It was all good, and I was really into it, and I was feeling it. And my son comes over here, could care less about what I'm talking about, and he's going to force me to stop talking to y'all to pay attention to what he has to say. Male privilege. So my son, why don't you tell these folks what it is that's got you
What
so
got me so upset is that there was a protest today in Union Square against this very statement. And they beat the man up. They beat people up. They broke the stick on his back. Broke sticks, nightsticks on people's backs. Full-blown riot. The police is out of control, man.
They're the ones we need to be protected. So I've been saying, that when the National Guard gets here, I hope they're coming to protect us against the police. Because in all the spaces that I've been in where black folks, but today we've been to rallies, we've been to protests, we've been to all kinds of things. We went to the county attorney's office, who has the responsibility and the authority to charge the police officers in this situation. Not one, but 4 of them. We went out there today, and people were together, families, loved ones, white, black, every race, creed, size, everything. Sexuality, nothing mattered. People were together. And guess what? There was no violence. There were no people fighting. There was nothing. There was nothing but love. There was people angry, and they were saying what they had to say. And we sat on the lawn of the county attorney. But it seems that something happens when our people are approached and met with militarized force. So don't let people tell you, oh, they burning it down, and we shouldn't be burning this, and we shouldn't be. Listen, these corporations have been taking advantage of our communities for a long time. I walked past the doors of Target last night, and I saw women with baby supplies. I saw a woman with Pampers. I saw someone else with milk. People were out here with things that they need. 40 million Americans are out of work in a country that has murdered the president and his administration. They murdered 100,000 people. They murdered 100,000 people with the COVID virus because they didn't act when they should have. When we first found out that COVID existed, that there was a problem happening in the world, there should have been action from our government. So they murdered 100,000 people. And the only thing that this country can do, instead of addressing the murder, instead of going up in the White House and arresting the prime criminal, the KKK is running all throughout the White House. And instead of them taking care of that, they focus their attention on beating up on black and brown people and white folks who are protesting and people who are standing for justice. Like, no. You can't turn your attention to a looting situation, a burning car, somebody that threw a rock. That ain't nothing in comparison to the murder and the looting of our people and our communities. They've been looting our communities since the beginning. They came here and stole the land of the Native American people. They stole indigenous land. They looted our people. They loot our lives every single day. And they get you to turn around and say, well, that's not what this is about. You know, it needs to be peaceful. I ain't peaceful. I ain't saying that I'm going to burn anything or I'm going to, incite riots or violence. That I don't support. But at the same time, I'm not speaking against it. And I'm not peaceful. I'm an angry black woman. I'm mad as hell. I don't feel peaceful at all. I don't want nobody to try to make me say peaceful, because I'm not using that language. Period. That's where I'm at. It's enough. It's time out for that. And as that sign over there says, if we try it your way, it can happen again. So we got to try a different strategy. And no, we don't want to see people get hurt. No, we don't want to see businesses destroyed. But what are these businesses really doing for our people? How many of these corporations, people so worried about the damn Target? When has Target spoke out against police brutality? What is Target doing about our people and our communities? Tell me, where are they on the front line? Did Target come out here and provide water for protesters? Did they send masks? Did they send tear gas gear to protect the eyes of young people and women? We watched a woman yesterday get hit with a rubber bullet and her eye was bleeding. So these corporations have done nothing for us. Nothing, not a thing. AutoZone, when have you heard them talk about the fact that people like Philando Castile was in his car? He was in his car, AutoZone. He was in his car when he was murdered. And the NRA say that they protect gun owners. They said nothing. The AutoZone said nothing. So who cares if their places of business are burned down? That's not my concern. That's not my concern. Arrest the cops. You want people to stop being violent? Arrest the cops. Arrest the cops. That's where we are right now. So, you know, again, we ain't advocating violence. And the violence that we don't want to see is the violence that happened towards our sister Breonna Taylor. The violence towards Tatiana Jefferson. The violence towards Sandra Bland. The violence that has happened to Tamir Rice, Sean Bell, Joe Guzman, Mike Brown, Akai Gurley, and the list, Ramarley Graham, Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's too many names. It's too many names. We can't call all the names, and we're tired, and people are tired, and the National Guard can't do nothing with this. And no, I'm not going home. We can't go home. We can't go home. We can't sit down. My son's life depends on us being out here. We got to get this thing straight. So that's where we are, you know. Ain't no peace. We not peaceful. We not peaceful. We angry as hell. Stop letting people talk you into that whole the narrative that they using to distract you from the real issue. They want to tell you about 2 or 3 locations that's closed down and some buildings that can be rebuilt. You can't bring George Floyd back to his family. You can't rebuild that. You can't bring no damn whatever you need, construction materials and those screws out there to bring back a man's life. You can rebuild a building. You can put out a fire. You can put windows in, but you can't bring back life. So don't let people get you caught up into that conversation. Damn that. When they ask you about looting, you should say, well, I don't support it. I'm not a part of it, but I understand it. I understand it. And then you tell people, but the larger issue is this. The more important issue is this. That's what you do. You got to do like they do. When we talk about police violence, they say, but what about black on black crime? So whenever somebody asks you about looting, I want you to say, but what about George Floyd? When they ask you about fires, when they ask you about violence, when they ask you about any of that, I want you to say, what about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and the list goes on and on, Mikhail Rose and so many. Change the subject just like they do to us. Don't get into that conversation, because that ain't our, that we passed that already. So I love y'all, brothers and sisters. I'm out. You know, we're gonna find some food, and tomorrow we have a big rally at 1 o'clock. Stephen Jackson, for the first time, he's gonna be coming here since his brother, his friend, who he called twin, since he died. He's gonna be coming here tomorrow, and we're gonna be standing with him at 1 o'clock tomorrow at the government center. So it's where all the government buildings are. That's where the rally will be. Tell a friend, call people, tell them to be out there. Don't let us be out there by ourselves. Don't let us be out there alone. Let's continue this movement. And like I said, if you scared, that's okay. I feel scared. When I got out the car today and I saw all the smoke ahead, I thought it was tear gas. And as we were walking towards it, I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, like, I got to go back over here again tonight with this tear gas. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want my people to get hurt. The men that I'm traveling with, they not really about, you know what I'm saying? These are street dudes. So they all the way with the shits. Like, they going to the front of the line. Last night, my son was tear gas. He was all the way up in it. And, you know, I'm worrying about that. I'm a mother. I'm worrying about my own mother, my father, my family, you know, my son. So I get scared. I get nervous. There's no such thing as no fear. There's always going to be fear. There's always going to be fear. You could lose this. You could lose your job if people find out that you're protesting. But you could lose your life if the wrong cop pulls you over. So you got to choose. And being afraid is still not a reason to be silent. Get up. Get active. Get into the work. Get into this movement. You are needed. 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 So we love you all. Thank y'all for the support. When you guys are giving us donations, we out here giving other people money because y'all giving us money. There's a bail fund to help people get out of jail. And, you know, we're doing all we can. We're tired. Yes, we're tired. But justice is something that, tired or not, you must continue to fight. And, you know, injustice persists whether we're tired or not. So when we go home in a few days or whenever we're able to go home, there are many capable people out here that pick up the torch and keep the movement going on. And if you're not in it, you need to ask yourself deeply, what is it that's stopping you? Because the man that was in the park, he was a Harvard grad. He was a Harvard grad. He was the talented 10th. He's the best of our communities. And yet still, a white woman lied on him and tried to get him killed. So it can happen to you. And every time I meet with a family, they always say, we never thought it would be us. We never thought it would be us. Don't let that be your story. Get off the sidelines and into the streets, brothers and sisters. Peace out. Much love.